You've been told your entire life that procrastination is the silent killer of success and the ultimate thief of time. But what if I told you that your inability to finish that boring to-do list is actually the secret engine behind your future wealth? The world's most successful people aren't more disciplined than you. They've just mastered the art of being lazy at exactly the right moments. Think about the tasks you've been putting off lately and the guilt that eats at you every single night. Most people call that a character flaw, but in reality, it's a sophisticated psychological filter designed to protect your highest potential. Today, we're flipping the script on everything you know about productivity to reveal why your worst habit is actually your greatest financial asset. We have been conditioned to believe that every second of our day must be filled with productive movement. From the moment we wake up, the pressure to be busy weighs on our shoulders like a heavy cloak. This constant drive to perform is treated as a virtue, while any moment of stillness is branded as a failure. This obsession didn't start with your smartphone or your demanding boss. It actually traces back to the soot-covered factories of the Industrial Revolution, where human value was measured by manual output. In that era, a person was simply a biological extension of a machine, and any pause in motion was a loss in profit. Back then, if you weren't moving a lever or stacking a crate, you were costing the company money. Time was literally equated to physical labor, and resting was seen as a direct threat to the bottom line. This rigid mindset was drilled into the workforce for generations until it became part of our cultural DNA. Fast forward to today, and we are still using that same outdated operating system in a world that runs on ideas. We treat our brains like assembly lines, trying to manufacture brilliance through sheer volume of tasks. We have replaced the factory floor with digital dashboards, but the underlying pressure remains exactly the same. You probably have a to-do list that looks more like a death sentence than a roadmap to success. You spend your energy crossing off minor chores while the big, life-changing opportunities sit at the bottom, gathering dust. This cycle creates a false sense of accomplishment that masks the fact that you aren't actually moving forward. Society rewards this frantic behavior with gold stars and empty compliments about your work ethic. But look closely at the people who are truly wealthy, and you will notice they aren't the ones running the fastest. They are often the ones who seem the most detached from the daily grind of minor emergencies. The hardest workers in the world are often the ones struggling the most to pay their monthly bills. They are trapped in a cycle of low-value activity that consumes their time without ever increasing their net worth. Hard work is a requirement for success, but without strategic direction, it is just a treadmill that leads nowhere. This is the great lie of the modern era, the idea that being busy is the same thing as being successful. In reality, constant activity is often just a sophisticated way of avoiding the difficult, high-stakes work that actually matters. We hide behind small tasks because they are safe and predictable, unlike the risks required to build real wealth. Think about the last time you felt guilty for putting off a boring email or a mundane house chore. That guilt is a byproduct of a culture that values the appearance of effort over the reality of results. You have been taught to fear the very instinct that could actually set you apart from the crowd. Our brains are naturally designed to conserve energy for things that ensure our survival and long-term growth. When you feel that resistance to doing busy work, it is actually your internal genius trying to protect your focus. It is a biological signal that you are wasting your most precious resource on something that doesn't move the needle. Throughout history, the most influential thinkers and creators were often labeled as idle or distracted by their peers. They weren't lazy, they were simply waiting for the right moment to apply their maximum leverage. They understood that 1 hour of deep, focused work is worth more than a month of shallow multitasking. By trying to do everything, you end up diluting your power until you are effectively doing nothing of consequence. You are spreading your focus so thin that you lose the ability to spot the one move that could change your life. This fragmentation of attention is the primary reason why most people stay stuck in the middle class. The world has shifted from a labor-based economy to an attention-based economy, but our habits haven't caught up yet. We are still using 19th century tactics to try and win a 21st century game of wealth and influence. The rules have changed, but the majority of the population is still playing by the old handbook. You are currently standing at a crossroads between the exhausted masses and the strategic few who know how to wait. Your bad habit of procrastination might actually be the most powerful financial tool you have ever possessed. It is time to stop fighting your nature and start using it to your advantage. You have been told that every minute must be accounted for if you want to succeed in this world. You track your steps, your calories, and every single second of your workday like a prisoner counting days. But despite the endless hustle and the constant noise, your bank account remains stubbornly stagnant. One Tuesday afternoon, the pressure finally reached a boiling point. Your inbox was overflowing, your phone was buzzing with notifications, and your brain felt like a browser with 50 tabs open. You realized in that moment that you were running a race on a treadmill that was going nowhere. That was the moment everything changed. You looked at your massive to-do list and felt a sudden, cold wave of clarity hit you. Most of those tasks were just noise designed to keep you busy while the real opportunities passed you by. You noticed a mentor of yours, a man who made 10 times your salary while seemingly doing half the work. He was not rushing to meetings or frantically replying to every message. He looked relaxed, almost bored, while the world around him scrambled in total chaos. It did not make any sense at first. You were taught that laziness was a sin and that procrastination was the ultimate thief of time. Yet, here was living proof that the most successful people were often the ones doing the least. You decided to confront the paradox head-on. You asked him how he managed to stay so calm while ignoring so many urgent requests. He smiled and told you that urgency is usually just a mask for someone else's lack of planning. That conversation was the catalyst for a total system failure in your old way of thinking. You could not unsee the truth once it was presented to you so clearly. Your obsession with being productive was actually the very thing keeping you broke. This is where the concept of selective procrastination first entered your mind. It was not about being lazy or avoiding work altogether. It was about the strategic, almost violent rejection of low-value tasks that drain your energy. The fear was immediate and paralyzing. If you stopped answering those emails or skipped those pointless meetings, surely everything would fall apart. You felt like a tightrope walker looking down for the very first time. You decided to run a dangerous experiment. You picked 3 critical tasks that had been haunting your schedule and you simply chose to ignore them. You waited for the sky to fall, for the angry calls, and for the inevitable disaster. But the disaster never came. In fact, nothing happened at all. The world kept spinning, the business did not collapse, and suddenly you had 4 extra hours of pure, uninterrupted focus. That was the point of no return. You realized that your time was not being stolen by others, you were giving it away for free. From that moment on, you stopped trying to do everything and started choosing what to fail at. You started where everyone else does, trying to be the ultimate productivity machine. You followed the gurus, woke up at dawn, and attacked your to-do list with a vengeance. It felt like progress, but you were just spinning your wheels in expensive mud. The first wall you hit was the sheer volume of urgent noise. Every notification felt like a fire that needed to be put out immediately. You were so busy playing firefighter that you forgot you were supposed to be building a skyscraper. I remember staring at my screen, feeling a strange sense of pride for clearing 50 emails. Then I looked at my bank balance and realized it hadn't moved a single cent. That was the moment the first seed of doubt began to grow in my mind. You probably tried the apps, the planners, and the time-blocking techniques. They promised clarity but only delivered a more organized version of your own exhaustion. You were becoming a master of the mundane while the big opportunities sailed right past you. My colleagues used to brag about how late they stayed at the office. They wore their burnout like a badge of honor, thinking sweat was the only currency that mattered. I followed their lead until I realized they were all just as broke as I was. The first major error was believing that every task carried the same weight. I treated a grocery list with the same intensity as a business strategy. My brain was constantly redlining, but the car wasn't actually moving down the road. I tried to force myself into a state of hyperfocus on everything at once. It was a recipe for a total mental collapse that left me staring at a blank wall for hours. The harder I tried to do it all, the less I actually accomplished. Then there were the helpful people in my life who kept adding to my plate. They saw my efficiency as an invitation to dump their low-value problems onto my desk. I was so productive that I became everyone else's favorite tool. I began to wonder if there was a secret I was missing. I watched the top 1% and noticed they were surprisingly hard to reach. They didn't answer every call, and they certainly didn't care about reaching inbox 0. My first experiment with ignoring things felt like a crime against my own upbringing. I purposely left a few minor emails unread just to see what would happen. I expected a catastrophe, but instead, I found a strange sense of peace. The real obstacle wasn't the work itself, but the crushing guilt of being unproductive. Society has conditioned us to feel ashamed if we aren't constantly grinding on something. Breaking that psychological cage was the hardest part of the journey. I realized that my obsession with being a good worker was actually keeping me poor. To get to the next level, I had to stop being so reliable for things that didn't matter. I had to find a way to fail at the small stuff so I could win at the big stuff. Most people think a finished to-do list is a badge of honor. In reality, it is often a graveyard of wasted potential and low-level busywork. You are checking off boxes while the world passes you by. Your brain is hardwired to seek out the easy dopamine hit of a completed minor task. This is why you answer emails for 3 hours instead of building your business. It feels like progress, but your bank account knows the truth. The ultra-wealthy do not have cleaner desks or emptier inboxes than you do. They simply have a higher tolerance for the mess that comes with ignoring the trivial. They let the small fires burn so they can build a sun. Productivity gurus have been lying to you for decades about the importance of organization. Efficiency is a trap when it is applied to things that do not matter. You are becoming a master of the mundane while your big dreams gather dust. This is where selective procrastination becomes your ultimate competitive advantage. It is the conscious decision to be lazy about things that offer zero return on investment. You are not avoiding work, you are curating your focus. It feels uncomfortable to leave a text message unread or a minor chore undone. That discomfort is exactly where your growth is hidden. If you cannot handle the guilt of a messy desk, you will never handle the pressure of $1 million decision. Look at your current schedule and ask yourself what actually moves the needle. Most of those tasks are just fillers designed to make you feel useful. True wealth comes from the 2 or 3 things you have been putting off because they are actually hard. We have been conditioned to believe that all work is created equal. This is a fundamental error in judgment that keeps the middle class stuck in a loop. 1 hour of deep, strategic thinking is worth more than a month of administrative perfection. When you stop trying to do everything, you finally have the energy to do the right thing. Selective procrastination acts as a natural filter for the noise of modern life. It forces the most important opportunities to rise to the surface. Think of your attention as a finite resource that is being stolen by 1,000 tiny thieves. Every minor notification you attend to is a withdrawal from your wealth-building fund. You must become a gatekeeper of your own cognitive energy. History is full of messy geniuses who ignored their social obligations to change the world. They were not disorganized by accident, they were focused by design. They understood that you cannot win a race if you stop to tie everyone else's shoes. The confrontation starts now between who you are and who you want to become. You have to choose between the safety of being busy and the risk of being great. The path to the top is paved with the tasks you chose to ignore. So, you've finally cleared the deck and ignored the noise. You feel like you've reached the finish line of this psychological marathon. It seems like the strategy is complete and your path to wealth is finally set in stone. But here is the cold, hard truth that nobody wants to admit. Most people who try this end up exactly where they started, or even worse. They master the art of ignoring things but forget how to actually build. Look at the mountain of unfinished emails and neglected chores piling up around you. It feels less like a strategic move and more like a total collapse of your professional life. The weight of what you've left behind is starting to feel heavy. Maybe the critics were right all along about your new habit. They called it laziness disguised as strategy, and right now, it's hard to argue with them. You're standing in the middle of a mess you created on purpose. Your bank account hasn't caught up to your ambition yet. You've traded busy work for deep thinking, but the numbers are staying stubbornly flat. It feels like you've gambled your reputation for a payout that isn't coming. This is the exact moment where the experiment feels like a total disaster. You've burnt bridges and missed deadlines that used to keep your world spinning. The silence from the opportunities you expected is almost deafening. Most people choose this exact second to throw in the towel and surrender. They run back to the safety of being busy and broke because the pressure of the void is too much. They mistake the silence of growth for the sound of failure. You might even be tempted to click away from this video right now. You feel like you've been sold a dream that only works for people who are already rich. The frustration is real, and it's telling you to give up. The reality is that you are currently sitting in the valley of despair. Everything you've ignored is screaming for attention, and the big win feels further away than ever. It looks like the end of the road for your wealth-building journey. But take a closer look at the chaos you've allowed to happen. While you were staring at the mess, something else was quietly shifting in the shadows. A specific type of momentum has been building without you even noticing it. The failure you're feeling right now is actually the final filter of the wealthy. It's the moment where the last remnants of your old, low-value identity are finally being burned away. You had to lose the old world to make room for the new one. There is one hidden variable we haven't discussed that changes everything. It's the final piece of the puzzle that turns your procrastination into a literal money magnet. You are seconds away from seeing the one thing that makes the whole system click. Everything you have been told about productivity is a lie designed to keep you busy rather than wealthy. The guilt you feel when you push aside those mundane tasks is not a sign of failure or lack of discipline. It is actually your internal compass trying to steer you towards something much more significant than a completed to-do list. This is the moment where we pull back the curtain on the ultimate secret of the financial elite. Selective procrastination is not about being lazy or avoiding work altogether to escape responsibility. It is the strategic art of starving the trivial tasks so you can finally feed the vital opportunities that change your life. When you stop trying to clear your inbox or organize your desk, you finally give your brain the oxygen it needs to innovate. You are essentially creating a vacuum that can only be filled by high-leverage ideas and wealth-generating moves. This mental space is where the real money is made while everyone else is distracted by chores. Think about the most successful people you know and look closely at their actual daily routines. They are not the ones running around trying to finish every minor chore or reply to every message. They are the ones who let the small fires burn so they can focus on building a sun. Society rewards the doers with more work, but the market rewards the thinkers with massive wealth and freedom. By choosing exactly what to ignore, you are effectively choosing what you intend to conquer. You are no longer a slave to the urgent demands of others, but a master of your own important goals. The pressure of those unfinished low-value tasks creates a unique kind of psychological tension that most people fear. Instead of letting it crush you, use that pent-up energy to fuel your most ambitious and difficult projects. This is how you turn a perceived character flaw into a high-performance financial engine. Most people are drowning in the shallow end of the pool because they are too afraid to let go of the edge. Selective procrastination is your permission to swim into the deep water where the biggest rewards are waiting. You have to stop being proud of how many boxes you checked and start caring about the impact you made. Wealth is not a byproduct of how much you do, but of the value you create through focused and sustained intensity. When you ignore the noise of the world, the signal for success becomes deafeningly clear. You begin to see the shortcuts and the leverage points that everyone else is far too busy to notice. This is the resolution you have been searching for since the very beginning of this journey. Your tendency to wait until the last minute or skip the small stuff is not a bug in your operating system. It is the most powerful feature of your mind, designed to protect your time from being stolen by the mediocre. Stop apologizing for the way your brain prioritizes the extraordinary over the ordinary and the boring. The world wants you to be a reliable cog in the machine, but you were built to design and own the machine itself. Your procrastination is actually a sophisticated filter for excellence that ensures you only work on what matters. From this point forward, you must embrace the silence of the tasks you intentionally choose to leave undone. Every ignored email and skipped meeting is a direct deposit into your personal bank of creative and strategic energy. This is the primary currency you will use to buy your ultimate freedom and long-term security. You are already doing it, and now you finally understand why it has been working in your favor all along. The secret to getting richer is not doing more, but doing significantly less of what does not actually move the needle. Welcome to the top of the mountain, where the view is clear and the distractions have finally vanished. Mastering selective procrastination transforms your schedule from a prison of busywork into a laboratory for wealth. You stop being a servant to the urgent and start becoming a master of the important. This shift is what separates the people who work for money from those who make money work for them. In a world obsessed with constant activity, your refusal to engage in the trivial is your greatest competitive advantage. While everyone else is drowning in emails and minor chores, you are building the systems that generate true freedom. This isn't just a productivity hack, it is a fundamental redesign of your financial destiny. The next time you feel guilty for ignoring a low-value task, remember that you are actually making room for your first million. Your brain is a high-performance engine that requires the right fuel to win the race. Stop wasting that energy on the small stuff and start betting on your biggest ideas. But knowing what to ignore is only half the battle in the game of wealth creation. To truly dominate, you need to understand how to protect that newly found time from the biggest thief of all. If you think procrastination is a secret weapon, wait until you see how the world's elite use strategic isolation to multiply their net worth overnight.